I'm 6,000 feet above the ground. I'm in the doorway of the airplane, and my feet are just dangling over the edge. And he says, "Go ahead, jump." And I push out, and this incredible feeling, all my senses are just going overload. And the adrenaline rush is just absolutely incredible. As I fall, I can still feel it. Even now, I'm kind of getting that excitement. You see, I've always been one of those persons who likes to take risks. I can't explain it. I don't know if it's an addiction or what. I just love that adrenaline rush. And so I like gambling also. And on this day, I'm 27, and I'm driving up to Lake Tahoe. And that's when I hear that a truck overturned, Highway 80 is blocked, and I decide halfway there, I'm going to a local bar that I've never been to. I walk in and order a beer, and I look over to my right, and there's a good-looking guy looking at me. And so I do what I always do. Look away. I mean, he's not looking at me. And I do one of those casual, check back to see if there's anyone else he's looking at. And when I look back, oh crap, he sees me again. But this time he smiles, nods his head. So I'm going to have my beer right here. I sit down, and there's an older gentleman in between us. And he is just talking up a storm. And I'm thinking, how am I going to break into this? When suddenly, the building shakes. It is an earthquake, and I freak. And they look at me and go, "Oh, no, 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 no. It's just the Sacramento 5 o'clock train. This happens every day." I breathe a sigh of relief. And then the conversation goes on. I'm part of it now. This is great. And the older gentleman is in between us. And he looks at me and says, "Something's going on here. I'm going to just step back and let nature take its course." 30 days later, we're still dating. We're in this Mexican restaurant, a very small dive, quiet. We're sitting at the table. We haven't ordered yet. And all of a sudden, it hits me. Oh, no. Not at the table. Oh, God, no. And like projectile vomit that I cannot stop, I say, "I love you." I am both frightened and horrified, and also kind of relieved. And I wait for that moment, the one where they have to say something. And he looks at me and he smiles and says, "Thank you. I'm just not quite there yet." Awkward. We're going to have dinner now. A week later, we're walking along the beach, and he leans over, kisses me, and says, "I love you too." The adrenaline rush just goes. Oh my God, I'm smiling so much. I can't stop smiling. I feel like a total doofus. I mean, goofy feelings inside, the whole works. 6 months later, he has this cough that just won't go away. I mean, we try cough tablets, we try chloroseptic, nothing's working. And I say, "Honey, you got to go to the doctors and find out what this is." At night, he comes back, sits on the edge of the bed with me, grabs my hand, and says, "I have something to tell you. Not only am I HIV positive, I have full-blown AIDS." I hug him. I kiss him and foolishly say, "This changes nothing, but it changes everything." We talk about the time that he became infected. He remembers when it was. And we look on the timeline, and we can tell that he has 1 to 3 years to live. And the drugs nowadays, at this time, just didn't work. So we try to do everything we can in this situation. We went to a medicine doctor who had the cure not only for AIDS, but also cancer. You had to bring a mason jar, and he would fill it with this milky-like fluid and threw like dirt in it. And you had to take it home, warm it up, put it in a teacup and sip it, but drink it from the other side. We went wherever hope would take us. Eventually, reached the point where morphine took him from me. Losing Sam hurt like hell. But I'd go through it again in a heartbeat. The hard part was that people would come to you and they'd say, "Oh, you lost your spouse." And there's that awkwardness. And I found that in myself, I would not be the one getting the comfort. I was the one comforting them. And I developed a line that really worked. I said, I'm just grateful for the time I had with him, which is my truth. You know, people come into your life for a reason. For him, I was in an abusive relationship, verbally abusive, and he rebuilt my trust in love as well as being in a relationship again. And after he died, his mom said to me, you know, he looked for love all his life, and he didn't find it till the end. You know, I got to the point that I was ready to go back and try it again. 3 years passed, I met this wonderful man, and this time I didn't projectile vomit on him. I can learn. There's a lesson there. But for me, I just love that adrenaline rush of love that I had to put myself back out there, because love really is like parachuting. We know the risk, but we still choose to jump. And so for myself, to you, I say take that risk. It is so worth it.